Well, I finally met a woman who was way more freaky than me. Yeah, she was. She wanna do it in the morning, afternoon, and in the evening. We freaking. She love to get it on. Yeah, I had to sleep with one eye open, but this woman won't leave me alone. No, she won't. I had to sleep with one eye open, yeah, but this woman won't leave me alone. No, she won't. All she wanna do is make love.
All right. We're back with another star-studded episode of Chat About TV with yours truly, King Jacob. And tonight we have another special guest, a superstar on the rise out that St. Louis area. You know what I mean? To make you dance, to make you party, to make you cut a two-step and drink a little moonshine while you're doing it. None other than my man Wolfman D. What's happening, man?
What's going on, man? Blessed to be here. Appreciate you having me on this wonderful show, man.
Yeah, yes, sir, man. So, man, when people ask you the question, who is Wolfman D, what type of answer is that?
Energetic, I got an energetic spirit, when I get around people and people that's actually can give you like some good energy, or kind of feed off their energy. Just a down good brother, just laid back, can be laid back, but also got a switch I can turn on where it's just like, man, I can almost be a danger to myself.
Okay. So, man, where did music start for you at?
So I'll put it like this. Um, so my aunt Ann Peebles, she was this blues singer back in the day. She had the I Can't Stand the Rain record. Miss Yelly did a flip with it in the 2000s. So she used to always come home to the family reunions and she used to perform. So I always thought that was cool, like just having a relative in the music industry.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to, get up on stage and, perform her songs and stuff like that. But when I really tapped into it is when my baby sister's father came into our life and he was like a big BB King fan. So he would play the blues at night, like every night before he went to work. He was a truck driver. So he used to leave at like midnight, but he used to play, his guitar every night, you know what I'm saying? And that's where I kind of started to fall in love with music, because he would try to, teach us how to play the guitar and, his piano. And he basically had a whole little setup in his, setup in the crib. So it was just like, I can't get away from it, with my auntie being in the industry, coming home, doing her thing, with him playing the music all the time. It was only right that I, tap into it as well.
Right. So you also play instruments?
So I used to play the trumpet, growing up, Um, but as far as like right now, like I don't play any instruments. I did used to make beats. Like I used to my mama for my 16th birthday, she got me a drum pad. And when I say I stayed in my room that whole summer and just made beats, like that was just my thing to do. So to me, that's kind of playing an instrument because you got to think off the top of what kind of melodies you want to put together. But other than that, like a guitar or anything like that, not shit. I do want to take lessons though.
Okay. So you are a music producer as well.
I used to be. I just do music now. I'm just a writer. I just, writer, performer, entertainer, you know.
Okay. So you don't want to pick that back up in producing those tracks?
Maybe, maybe, maybe in the future, you know what I'm saying? When I lose like the inspiration to write music and to perform it, I'm sure like that is always be a thing for me because I always hear music in my head.
Okay. So when you was growing up, was there a lot of church influences as well?
Definitely had to go to church every Sunday. definitely got into the choir. But see, so me and my brother and my cousins, they used to make us go to church every Sunday. And we volunteered to get in the choir. And see, me, my family, we grew up, funny. You know what I'm saying? So to us, it was a joke, to be honest with you. Like just getting in there and seeing people sing and we laughing, you know what I'm saying, and probably get a whooping after church for doing it. But um yeah, I mean, when we did get in the choir, for me personally, I started to like hear something different. I started to feel it. You know how when a singer get up there and just sings really good, and it just touch you in a way where it's just like, man, what's that feeling? That's when I started to like feel it, like shivers down your back, all through your body. It's a feeling for me. So yeah, growing up in church, it was definitely knowledgeable when it came to music because it made me feel music.
Okay, okay, man. So when did you first start taking your music craft real seriously?
So okay, so I started at the age of 15, 16. Like I say, started making my own beats. I had ended up getting a 4-track recorder, started recording myself. And then technology kind of changed where I ended up getting a Mac computer and I was doing everything off my Mac. So then I met these guys that kind of put me into artist development. A good producer. He used to work with Dr. Dre. He's located in St. Louis. His name is Flex. Um, and he was a great producer. So what he would do is he would give me a CD full of beats, and he would say, "Go home and write to something, and come back with something." You know what I mean? Just trying to see where like my vocal skills and you know, my rapping skills would fit it on that type of production. So, we did that for a couple years. And then at the age of, I'll say maybe 18 or 19, I started taking it serious and recording myself. I ended up getting my own studio and, just started doing it myself, trying to learn, the tricks and trade of Pro Tools. And shortly after that, I started releasing music. I started making, mixtapes because mixtapes was popping back then. Um, and that's pretty much where I started taking it serious is when I got my own equipment.
Okay, okay, okay. That's what's up. Shout out to my man Rec Boy DJ Shy from in the studio with the Rec Boys tapping in with us, man.
And I
Um,
see you do. I see you do artist development too. That's a
I
loss.
do,
That's a lost cause for
I
some
do,
people, man. Like
I
some
do,
people
man.
don't understand. Like that's a necessary thing that you need to have.
My
That's
mission,
necessary.
man, is to really bring it back to the forefront of where I can get a contract with an Epic or Warner Brothers or Def Jam, and just to really show them that you need artist development. That's why y'all really been losing.
Exactly.
Giving the artist a 360 deal, that's fine, but but if you look at the pop labels, the country labels, and even the gospel labels, they put their artists through artist development, so the artist can't lose or the label can't lose. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And
Exactly.
so if the artist is always winning, then the label is always going to win. And
Of
so
course.
I just think in a lot of senses, man, the digital era really messed up the music
It
industry.
did. Because the
You,
thing
you,
about it is, it's like, yeah, you can make a song and it go viral on any of these social media platforms, but can you actually go out there and perform that song? And when I say perform that song without your track, can you do that? And
right.
not only that, can you be as energetic as you are on that track when you perform it? Like a lot of that ties back into artist development. Like a lot of these younger artists that's growing up, they think, oh, I get a hot song, I go out here and I perform it, and then you looking around and ain't nobody giving you energy because you don't have that. You're not prepared for that yet.
Mhm.
So I definitely think it's a lost cause, and I think most more people should, invest into getting some type of artist development, and that's just for every that's just all across the board. Whether it's your production, you might be on some tracks that don't fit you.
Right.
The person that's putting you through artist development, they're going to develop you and give you the right production that's going to fit your voice,
That's right.
and
That's right.
so it can take you further. So when you say like these labels are losing, they really they set them up for failure. I look at
Mhm.
it like that. Like, yeah, they got all these followers and stuff from this little song they did, but what else is after that? Because I'm sure the
Man,
labels still look at it like that. Like, what's next?
man, because I know a lot of cats, man, and don't get me wrong, man. A lot of music guys and music women that's into the business, that's artists and stuff, use that platform for social media well. But
Yeah,
if you're buzzing on social media, but you can't even have 100 people to show up to see you for a concert, so what are we doing here with social media?
exactly, exactly. It's just social media. It's. I mean, for me, it ain't real. People don't really portray their life to be what it really is. So, I mean, when you got followers like that, I mean, them can be either bots or, because if you got 20,000 followers and like you say, you can't fill up a room, that's false. That's false
Right.
advertising.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So we got none other than Atlanta, Georgia's very own Yolanda Marshall tapping
Yolanda
in.
Marshall. What's up, Yolanda?
Yeah, man. I mean, I call her the hardest working woman in showbiz.
She
You know what I
definitely
mean?
is. I was just
Yeah.
talking to her today, to my manager, because I was just like, when I started out, Yolanda was very much so like prevalent in my like career when I stepped over into Southern Soul. Like, and she really like hit the ground running, doing her thing like behind the scenes. And for me, it was just like not even knowing. I remember it was one time like she had sent my song, one of my songs somewhere, and when I say like I was just getting followers after follower after follower, ended up getting maybe 200, 300 followers within 2 weeks. And it was just like, man, what are you doing? How you do that? But she's definitely a grinder. She's a worker, and she's gonna get the job done. So I definitely, commend her, for reaching out to me and linking me up with you to get on this platform, man.
Right, right. So we have man, Mr. Johnny Hopkins the third, the manager, owner, CEO, promoter of Hopkins Brothers
Okay.
Incorporated, which is a quartet group from South Carolina, man.
Big salute.
His granddad started the business over 62 years ago, and
Oh yeah,
he has recently took it over in the last 2 3 years and has really elevated them. So shout out to him
for sure, for
for
sure.
tapping in with us. And yes, Miss Marshall, I know you appreciate the love, but we definitely uh, uh, appreciate you too. So let me go ahead and highlight her for a minute. So let me tell you now. The name of this show is Southern Soul Tuesdays, and
Mm-hmm.
it's sponsored by my other show, the Chatterbox TV. So with that being said, man, I did Southern Soul Tuesday. It was inspired by Yolanda Marshall. Um,
Okay.
Yolanda Marshall, she just used to send me people, and man, I just say that she inspired me to do a Southern Soul show. So this is every Tuesday, 9:30. It's King Jacob of the Chatterbox, Southern Soul Tuesdays. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So she inspired that, and she just she plugged you in with some of everybody, and she just understand. I value your work as you value mine. So we gonna plug in together, and we gonna we gonna do the damn thing. And so
Oh,
I
for
definitely
sure.
appreciate it. And so we definitely have some hot Southern Soul artists tapping in. You know what I mean? Thank you for tapping in, Miss D, and the voice of Southern Soul. I appreciate her tapping in, and I
Big
appreciate
salute.
her management tapping in, Mr. Isaac Turner. See you. Thank you for tapping in too.
Oh,
And don't
yeah,
worry,
man. You
Your
got them
your
popping in. What's goody?
yeah,
What's up,
yeah,
y'all?
yeah. And I've never this young man. I think is Mr. Chapo Donaldson, just tapping in with us. I'm sorry if I butcher your name, but yeah, thank you for tapping in with us, man. I like to get further acquainted with you, get to know a little bit more about you, man, and get you on the show because it's enough room for everybody. Let me find out the journey, the backstory, and what you all have going on. Salute to all of you. Yes, yes, yes. So, um, now
It's
I
definitely been a
listened to
journey.
you. I listened to you today, man, and it's interesting that you got one of my close friends on the track with you that I want to say he and I have been friends since 1997, which is a very long time ago.
Okay.
None other Mr. Chris Clear, baby Donnie Hathaway, baby Jack and Wilson, Mr. Rico C, Mr. Rico C.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rico C is another one, man. We used to, go to shows and, turn up for the crowd. You know,
Man,
he
man,
put
let
me
me
on
tell you.
to a lot of stuff out there in South Carolina.
Oh yeah, man. He from the backwoods like me, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
so Rich Fries Cookout.
I see what he doing over at his crib, man. I've been to his crib before, and man, he really making that thing look good.
Oh yeah, man. But he a hard worker, man. But the thing about Rico C, man, I know a lot of people know him in Southern Soul. But I always tell him, boy, you got to blend that Southern soul with their R&B with their quartet because
Yeah.
Rico C is one hell of a R&B singer and R&B songwriter,
Yeah.
and as well as he don't just only make the people cry in the church, but he make the walls cry in the church.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh
know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Oh
So
yeah.
when I say you're doing a feature with him, I say yeah, man. He done made his way down in South Kakalaki. You know what I mean?
I've definitely been there a couple times. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
man. So
sir.
so that's great. And then another song, and she was one of the very first Southern soul artists that I ever interviewed from the Missouri area. So
Kansas City.
yeah, man. So when I seen the songs with Chavonna Adams, I was like, oh yeah, man. He doing his thing. And then as Miss Marshall sent me over, some briefings to read on you.
Yeah.
Miss Jody and Pokey Bear and several others that you rock stages with and did shows with, man. And I can say salute you for that. And um, my homegirl from Arkansas, Arkansas is tapping in with Arkansas, Shreveport, Louisiana. Over that way, man. Miss Miss Melanie Craig, man, and man, she definitely have a dynamic show. I definitely plug in with her as well, man. So thank y'all for tuning in with me, man. Tuning in with me and and just showing some love, So man, um,
For sure.
what was you doing before Southern Soul?
So
Was you a rapper, R&B singer, or
yeah. So I did like more so rap R&B. And
okay,
at the time, which was this was literally like 2000, I'll say 18 is when I started back into the music because I had cut it out for a minute and I started actually doing video work. The music wasn't making money. I'm like, man, I got to make some money. So I started tapping into the videography. I used to do, events like comedy shows, a live talk show I had. And then I used to do just like events, like trailers for people that had events and music videos. So, I tapped into that lane, making my money. And yeah, about 2018, 19, I hopped back in it. I had a hot song called Smooth Talk. And I took it up to the radio station in St. Louis. and they loved it. They said they was gonna do something with it, and as time went past, it just never happened. Because I believe at that time, you know, St. Louis wasn't really on a R&B hip hop type of vibe. They was more so, down south trap music. And I just felt like, maybe I'm just aging out a little bit, when it comes to the radio stations in St. Louis. And a DJ here in St. Louis, he was in Southern Soul 3 years prior. He just told me, man, let's get on the road. And he was like, let's do this Southern Soul thing. So this was 2021. 2021 is when I kind of converted over to Southern Soul. And like I say, I'm from St. Louis. I didn't really know what Southern Soul was, Southern Soul music. I knew like artists, like, they say your Johnny Taylors and, you know, all of those artists, but I didn't know that they actually had a genre for it, right? So, the first show that I did, it was with Pokey. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, I've heard of Pokey, but he's bigger now in St. Louis, but back then it was like, just kind of coming up. So I'm like, yeah, and this was just like right after COVID, like start opening back up. Right after COVID, like everything shut down. Now everything is starting to open back up. Had a show down there in Montgomery, Alabama. When I say like I didn't expect any of that, when I say it was every bit of 500 to 600 people that showed up for this for Pokebird, I was like, oh, I understand now. And then I started to kind of dive into the music, doing my research, trying to see like everything. And the DJ that I was, affiliated with, he kind of was, giving me some tips along the way, showing me, playing the songs along the way. And I'm just like, okay, I can do this. Because again, back to what I just said earlier, my baby sister's dad, he was playing the blues every night, BB King stuff. So that kind of tapped me back into those days when I was, listening to that music. I already got an old soul. Like I'm a Temptations, Marvin Gaye type of fella. You know what I'm saying? I
Uh-huh.
listen to that music all night long.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, it was 2021, hopped in, Pokey Burst show, and it just opened my eyes to something different. It was just like, man, I ain't even gotta do this rap. I ain't gotta try to do this rap thing. I can do this. I can do this.
See, man, see, shame on the people from St. Louis for not bringing you down here to
They
to
dropped the
listen
ball a
to
little
this.
bit, man, and I was
Yeah,
I was a
yeah,
little
yeah.
hurt. I was hurt from that because it was just like, man, y'all bring me in the radio station, y'all amp me up, and then y'all don't do. Then you don't do nothing with it, and it's
See,
just like, okay, I,
see,
I ain't finna
see.
force it. So I kind of
Right,
just kind of step back for a minute. But
right.
that whole time from 2021 to like 2022, like I was on the road just traveling to different cities. So it
Okay.
really it really was no never mind for me. It was just like, okay, I'm doing this anyway, so forget it. You know, still haven't recorded like a official Southern Soul because I was still kind of playing off the music that I had, which was still soulful, but it was R&B and rap. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I kind of switched up my creativity and kind of made it like a singy rap, but you can understand. It's not so much rap to where or so much lyricism where you can understand what I'm saying. Like it's like I say, I tapped into like the stories, or for me, I figure I'll go in the lane of the party Southern Soul.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
That's what you want for sure.
yeah, I'll get into the party. Like I want to have fun. I want to have a drink. I want to have a shot. Take a shot with me. I want to get on this dance floor and dance all night. I want to sweat my clothes out. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So that was the lane that I kind of started to see myself, and I kind of took and started to go in that way. And we here today. But yeah, it's definitely been a journey. I got so many stories that I ain't even shared yet, but
Hmm.
it,
Hmm.
it it's been a road, man. It's been a ride, and I love it though.
Right, right, right. So we have Miss Shamika Anderson topping in from so excessive clothing, so excessive management, so excessive events in promo. Thank you for tapping
Okay.
in. Out of Aiken,
Salute,
South Carolina.
salute.
Thank you for tapping in. We also True Sister Flex Radio tapping in the building, man, and she said she want to hear a sample of something from you. You hear? You see on the screen?
She said, "Can we hear a sample?" Oh man, you want to hear a sample? I don't know why I never thought that would be a thing. You know what I'm saying? Well, I thought it would be a thing, but it's just like, man, come on.
Hmm.
Because I don't. I listen to me, listen to me. I don't sing, and I ain't got no voice. You can hear my voice is kind of gone right now. I had a crazy weekend. Um, if I was to rap, I'll rap, but I'm not in that mind state no more.
Yeah. I can get some records over to her, and
Please, I mean, because if
she
you hear the records, you will understand. Like I tried to, I hate to say I dumbed down, my craft, but I just kind of, just kind of pulled it down. I pulled it back a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
I pulled it back a little bit.
Right. So I'll get some records over to her, man, and whatnot, man, and plug in and send her some of your YouTube links, and y'all can talk it up, cause she down there she got ties in Arkansas and a lot of ties in Shreveport, Louisiana. So she definitely heavy hitter down there, and she definitely like the grown folk stuff. So I definitely send her
Okay,
something, man.
so I probably messed that up. But nah, for real, that's
No,
a
no,
that's
no,
a
no.
that's a make or break moment when you ask somebody to go on a spot and they
Yeah,
not ready, and then you listen to them, and then it's like, that ain't it.
man. But that man,
That
listen
ain't it. You know what I'm
on this show, Wolf, on this show, Wolf, man. Listen, man. When I bring artists on here, boy, they be on it, boy. They be like, hit
saying?
something for them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So they always that ain't nothing new, man. So we're gonna take a quick commercial break, man. We'll be right back with Wolfman D. It's the Southern Soul Tuesday, sponsored by the Chatterbox 168 Radio and Exclusive PR firm. We'll be right back momentarily.
I'm tired of lying, and it's getting plain to see. I done tried hard to deny, but this woman changing me. Might go to the clubs, but I leave kinda early, and I don't drink and drive, but chug and jive, so my woman ain't gotta worry. No, no. See, I can't be playing with her heart or playing with her mind. We ain't getting no younger, can't play with my time. And I know she miss me and can't wait to kiss me. So I might be invited tonight. You ain't gotta look for me. I might be invited tonight. Yeah.
All right, we back, man. That was in by 10 tonight by my man Too Smooth out in Mississippi area. You know what I mean? So, we back here. Wolfman.
yes, sir. I'm back.
All right. So, man,
Let's go,
she
man. You
said
got me
two.
feeling bad now. She said you always supposed to be ready. I already know. I already know the game.
She
I
said y'all are
already
supposed to
know.
be ready. So, man, to this date, what is your biggest radio that people request, and for people the people request on the radio and people request you to do at shows?
I would say probably shake that weight. It's just a fun, record that you can put on your playlist, go to the gym and work out to. You can play it in the club, and women gonna dance to it. Because it's catered to them. And shake that weight is just toggling with if you got some weight in the back or you got some weight on your body, you gonna shake it, regardless of what it is. But I want you to feel beautiful about yourself. It's
Right.
just one of those songs.
Okay. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope,
But
man.
this
That's dope.
next one I'm about to release, I figure that'll be the one. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's called "Wave That Bandana." Featuring Chavonna Adams. I
Boy,
just feel like that'll be the one.
boy, listen here. I can't wait, bro. I can't wait. I can't wait because I know how she coming,
Yeah,
and I know how you coming. So I figure that's gonna be a good record. So man, we got my man Drizzy Panda out there NYC area tapping in, man. What's good, bro? Thanks for tapping in. Thank you for showing some love to the show, man.
big
Appreciate you,
salute, big
man.
salute.
Yeah, man. So man. So one thing about me, bro, I tell people all the time, no matter what people from, man, you got the networks because if you network, there's another market that you can get in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So your network is going to keep going to equal your net worth. So you know what I mean.
yeah,
So once you understand the power of networking, man, and how so important how important it is in the music industry, man. It's so important, man. So important.
it's
So
very
now,
important. And I took it upon myself to. That's all I would do. Like I had stopped going out, outside for a minute, meaning like to like the clubs and stuff like that because it just was getting bad outside, and it was just like I have to treat myself as an asset. So the only times I'm gonna go out is when I'm doing some type of networking or doing some type of celebrating or or doing some type of work, you know what I'm saying, or performing. Other than that, man, I'm in the crib perfecting. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just if you're gonna take your career serious, treat yourself like an asset. It's no reason for you to be outside every night if you just want to have fun. That's cool, what I'm saying, to a certain extent, but why don't you dial that back sometime? Perfect. Like you said, your network, either your net worth. So, you know, either you have high expectations for that or you don't.
that's right.
And that's
That's
and
right.
that's
You
just
know,
where
no
that's
doubt.
where I put myself at.
Okay. Okay. So now the business part of music. How long did it take you to really understand the business part of music? Like, we have a lot of dope artists out here, a lot of multi-talented artists, a lot of what we call raw and uncut type artists. But understanding that music business, I tell artists all the time, man, I've been in this business a long time. It's only 10% music and it's 90% business. And
Exactly.
that's a fact. That's a fact. So if you understand that that is 9% business, man, you definitely, man, you definitely ahead of the game, man. So
Yeah.
when did you first
So
learn that business?
so I did some research on it because I would always hear it all the time, and you know people would say it all the time in like they interviews and stuff like that, like business, business, business. Make sure you know the business, and then you kind of got to think like, what is the damn business? So when I did my research, it was more so like, you definitely want to make sure, when you doing a record, you definitely want to make sure you get that record registered. You want to get it copyrighted. You want to make sure it's on SoundScan, and you want to make sure that when you sending this record out, that UPC code attached to it that's the one you sending out. That way, when you getting played, that's where your funds add up at. You know what I mean? As far as like contracts and stuff like that, man, definitely have those because in this game, people would shake your hand and hide that motherfucker when you done doing the service. So, you definitely want to have your contracts together. Whenever you're doing a service, whenever you're doing a show, and just make sure your music is up to par when it comes to registering your stuff, and make sure it's copywritten.
Right, 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 right.
It might cost a little
Um,
money, it costs a little money, you know what I'm saying? But if you feel like that record is worth it, just go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and do it, because it's so many open avenues for your music to be placed in music, and I mean in movies, in commercials. Like, so you definitely want to make sure you keep 100%, if you can, of what you create.
now hold it right there. We gonna keep it right there just for a minute. As them pastors say, we gonna just stay right there for a minute. You know, follow me if you can. Now, I've been telling artists this for 20 years, right? I say, man, I understand that you don't have money to compete with the artists that sign with Universal, with Epic, and Warner Brothers. I understand that, but you do have a chance to hire you a sync license agent that
Yeah,
can place you in film, documentary, and TV. And I said, man, at a minimum, man, you might receive for five or six films, or say it's 3 or 4 films. At a minimum, man, you're gonna receive $3,000 to $5,000.
yeah,
You know what I
yep.
mean?
That's off top.
So you telling me $3,000 to $5,000 4 times in 1 month that can do. And I tell artists all the time, man, you should make two types of records. Not of course the clean and the dirty version, but you should make records that you're gonna put on the radio that the
Yep,
masses of like, and you should make records only for soundtracks.
yep,
You know what I
yep,
mean?
yep,
You should have a catalog only for soundtracks. And then I tell artists all the time, I say, man, as an independent artist, I know you got to pay for studio time and all that, but you should at least have have been recorded at least 50 records per year.
yeah,
And they say that's a lot of records. I say it's not, because your catalog is intellectual property, and it might be a overseas company that may want to even buy half of your catalog. And
exactly.
you as an independent artist, if you sell 25 songs for $300,000 or $400,000, right? It's nothing for you to make 25 more. It's like somebody
Exactly.
it's like somebody writing movie scripts. It's tons of script writers that write movie scripts and sell them to overseas film companies, stuff like that. So artists have to stop thinking to they gotta hold in this music. You don't, man. Your music is made to be sold.
Yeah,
It's made to be it's made to be, oh, this guy did this, he what? So let me get him to write for some of my artists, and maybe an overseas company want to give you a publishing deal worth 1.5 million. I mean,
yeah.
it ain't it's a business, man.
It's
Like
it's big business at that.
yeah, yeah,
And
man.
and
So
and like you say, that's kind of how I structure some of my songs when I go to write them. Because you got to think, commercials and movies, they only taking probably 30 seconds out of that, a clip out of that music, and placing it into whatever they got. So you want to kind of structure something in your song that they can take and play, and and make whatever product, or whatever movie it might tie into the movie. You want to make that what it is, so you can get seal the deal. But I mean, like you say, it's definitely big business. And I would always say invest in yourself. I hear a lot of people always say that, studio time, studio time, studio time. But guess what? You can go to Guitar Center, get you a mic, buy you some Pro Tools, get you a desktop, and set up. Learn your craft. And like I say, that probably ties back to artist development. You know,
yeah,
they will teach you, that kind of stuff to do. That way you're not constantly spending your money, taking your waste not wasting your time, but taking your time to drive to the studio. Then you gotta, Some people have rules in the studio. You can't get all the way comfortable like you want to. You know what I'm saying? So I always say invest in your if you gonna take it serious and you're gonna be on a long haul with it, just invest in yourself. Buy your equipment. Doing it amongst your house in comfort. That way you can
You
get the best product. I mean, some people might work good under pressure, and that's good for them, but you still spending your money.
Yeah, and I just really think the best engineers are the engineers that have the closed off sessions with them and the artist,
Yeah,
and there's no drinking, there's no smoking, it's just you and your intellectual process, and let's see what your intellectual process is, and that way, you know, the engineer can develop a unique sound for you that nobody else has. You know what I mean?
exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Man, we're gonna take another quick commercial break, man, and we'll be right back before we close out, man. Stay tuned, keep it locked. Wolfman D, man. Oh man, up and coming rising artist. That boy gonna be millionaire status before you know it. Stay tuned.
Man, say that.
Shout out to the men that just came home from jail and said no matter what the circumstances is, I'm never going back. Shout out to the men that said I'm tired of neglecting my children. I'm stepping up and being a man for my children, teaching them morals, honor, responsibility. Shout out to the men that say, you know what, I'm tired of sleeping on that couch. I'm tired of using my mother. I'm tired of using that girl. I'm going to step up and be a man for me. Shout out to the men that just graduated from college or going to college. Shout out to the men that graduated from trade school. Shout out to the men that say, yo, I'm just tired of being tired and I need to make a change. Shout out to the men that stayed there, that's raising their children. Shout out to the men that's getting married or want to stay married. Shout out to the men that's taking care of children that's not biologically theirs. Shout out to the men that's trying to figure it out. Shout out to the men because you are a beautiful soul. Shout out to the men that's just being a part of everybody's life to make a change, man. Stop the violence.
You heard it, man. Shout out to the men that's making a change. I commend you, brothers. I honor you, brothers. I love you, brothers, man. And I'm gonna stand tall with you, brothers, man. Cause there's so many times that the good men don't even get highlighted, man. We're 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 overlooked because everybody want to put us in the same box.
Yep.
But that's not the case, man. So shout out to the man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Stand tall, stand strong, and and just understand that your shine is going to come. So shout out to the good brothers, man. So man, before we get out of here, man, you can introduce some of your new projects, give a few shout outs, and man, and tell people where to find you at.
Yeah. So I released 3 songs this year so far. One called "Don't Step Wrong," which is taking its own little toll. I had linked up with a line dancer instructor here in St. Louis, and he made a dance to it. And he actually traveled around the country and he teach the dance to, he done been to California, Memphis, Atlanta. Like, man, he going somewhere the weekend after next. And it's really taking his own little toll. And that was really a one-off record for me because it was just like, all right, I gotta put something out, gotta put something out. So I put something out and man, it took its own thing. Then I did a rodeo record. Cause I'm like, in this Southern Soul thing, you gonna have you gonna come across the same type of content as what somebody else did already put out. You're gonna have your rodeo records, you're gonna have your moonshine records, you're gonna have your man cheated records, you're gonna have your woman cheated records. You know what I'm saying? But it's all up to you on how you create it. So I did a record called Rodeo Showdown. And that one is going really crazy. And it's I don't know, it's just a lot of this is overwhelming for me right now because it's really going quick, quicker than I expected it to go. So yeah, we got Don't Step Wrong, we got Rodeo Showdown, and then we got Wave That Bandana coming out June 13th. Um,
And
I
let's
got a
not forget
show.
about and let's not forget about Air It Out.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Come on, man. Air it out. See, I kind of fumbled with that one. And the reason I did Wave That Bandana is because Air It Out was supposed to be one of those fan records where they, because that's what I was seeing when I was going to the trail rides was people had their fans. And I was just like, man, I can utilize that. And but I just didn't push it like it was supposed to be pushed.
Okay.
You know, it was some things behind the scenes going on with that record too, the actual production of it. So that record almost didn't get made. But that's another day, another story. Um, but yeah, so you know, I got, you know, records like that, Shake That Weight, Lion Dancer. You know, just go. I got a catalog. I got a catalog now. You can just
Right,
go
right,
type
right.
me in, Wolfman D, on all social media platforms. You know, I'll pull up. You know, if you want to YouTube it, if you got Apple Music, I prefer Apple Music. That's what I play, because they show you what your top songs are, you know, on a weekly basis and what
Mhm.
people listening to. So, you know, I would definitely recommend you go there and check it out. Like I said, I got a show coming up this Saturday at the Ambassador here in St. Louis. Tiana Page will be there, the lovely young lady that created the Dangerous Dance. And then you got Smiles P. He's hosting. Um, Miss Chalet, she's hosting. And it's just gonna be a fun-filled event, you know. So if anybody in St. Louis in this chat room, come on out, get your ticket and have a good time. You know, I
So,
definitely want to
so,
shout out Ruckus Management. You know, he
so make
definitely
sure you
do his
send me, make sure you send me that flyer so I can get it over to Beat District Radio out there in St. Louis, which is owned by my home girl, the world famous Kalunda K, out there in St.
okay.
Louis.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I definitely get you that. Like I say, you know, shout out to the team, shout out to Ruckus Management that keep these bookings going. Shout out to Chavonna Adams, you know, for always just, you know, being a team player. And you know, shout out to Yolanda for hooking me up with this dope interview. Shout out to you for giving us artists a platform like this where we can kind of come and just, you know, talk that talk, you know, and just
Right.
kind of let people know, like, you know, how the come up is, you know, and where the music started at.
Man,
You know,
listen,
some
man.
a lot of artists, I think a lot of artists need platforms like this,
Right,
because it's just
right.
like, man, it's like, how do I get out here? You got to get on these
Mhm.
platforms, man.
That's right. That's right. And to the artists, man, I love what y'all do. I love, cause I'm, I'm an artist, but just, I'm a church boy, but I'm, I'm a dope writer. So, started writing songs when I was real young, but I just got out of it and got on the business side, man, and just was in the street promotions first, club promotions, and got into management now. Got into radio, and now I'm on the PR side. So I work for a exquisite PR firm as well, and so we are taking on new clients as well, man. And just artists just know this, man. That no matter what people tell you, there's always a market for your music. It may
Yeah,
not be the market that you live in, but it is a market for your music.
exactly.
So
And I'm a big testament of that, because it would but guess what? Today's time, oh man. And it's not even just St. Louis, it's more so the Midwest area. It's just everybody is now picking up on, like, when I say, like, I can scroll down my Facebook and all I see is first annual trail ride, first annual rodeo, you know, come in your cowboy boots and dukes. You know, I'm seeing it all over the Midwest, and it's just like, man, y'all really didn't know what this was about 3, 4 years ago. I come home and be like, yeah, I just left a trail ride. They be like, what's that?
and
I'm
what's so
like,
what's so crazy, Wolfman D, is man, man, I just celebrated 51 years around the sun. And man, they was doing this before I was born, man. Like
exactly,
like my
exactly.
pop my pops used to tell me about the 70s parties, man, in the late 60s parties, and how the chitlin circuit was birthed. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And so
yeah.
the chitlin circuit been around forever, man. And I tell people in the Midwest all the time. Most of the people in the Midwest ain't from the Midwest; they from the South. So they really understand the chitlin circuit. Just the young people didn't understand it.
The young people, yes, sir. And it
You know what
looked
I
like
mean?
the chicken circuit is about to be mainstream.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh
It's
yeah,
the
oh yeah.
mainstream thing right now.
Yeah, man. And I tell people when you think of the records that your parents and your grandparents played, like James Brown and Marvin Cease and Roy C. and
Yeah,
Tyrone Davis and Minnie Riperton and Donny Hathaway and Phyllis Hyman and the list goes on, bro. You know, like I tell people if there was no Chitlin circuit, the Temptations wouldn't be famous because they had to come down south and tour to get their popularity.
To get that popularity. Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So you know, but just keep doing what you're doing, my brother. I appreciate you coming on, man. So we're gonna close out, man. I say y'all keep it locked every Tuesday. Southern Soul Tuesday at 9:30, and I will have a new Southern Soul artist on every Tuesday. So Southern Soul artist, this is your new platform. So if you want to get on, just hit me up, or not just hit the 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 heavy hit of Southern Soul, Miss Yolanda Marshall. Bridget got promoted
Yolanda
this year.
Marshall.
Yeah, and she would definitely get in contact with me. So man, peace and blessings to y'all. Stay safe, be blessed, and always stay encouraged. We out of here.
Yes, sir.